So you may be looking to make a change, but you don't know how to do it. You may feel like it's extremely hard or extremely scary to do. And although it may seem hard, although it may seem scary, change is possible. Now, I know this because I have had multiple changes in my life, and obviously some greater than others. But what I found was some of the biggest changes I've made have helped me in my life, improved my life, so much so that it has changed my complete outlook on life. And change can do the same for you. And yes, it is scary, and yes, it can be hard, because we all want to be in a place of security. We all want to be in a place where we are happy, right? We want to know what the routine is. And when we, try to build these new beliefs, build these new routines, we get scared, right? We feel like we might lose a part of ourselves along that journey, or we feel like we may, not really want to have that change, right? Because we feel like we may actually be losing something in that transition. And although the things you may lose aren't the particular things you may actually think that you're missing out on, right? Because when you are making change, you're actually acquiring, new perspective, new health, new business, whatever it may be. These are all new things that you have never experienced before. And the change, it can be scary. There can be, something new that you uncover that you decide, wow, this has completely changed my perspective. I just wanted to try it out, and it's something I really enjoy, but I'm still scared to adopt it to my life. And this can be hard, but you have to look at why it's so hard, right? Why is it so challenging to you? Is it because it seems like a lot of work, and you may feel like you don't have the time to actually make that change, when in fact, if we all look at our days, right, we all have the same amount of time every day, and we can make changes. We can make those things a priority, and this is how we can include it into our days, our daily lives. If you make it a priority, and those other things that you may think are a priority, maybe you need to, relook at those particular things and realize that no, those aren't priority, that this one thing that you want, this one change that you want, should be the priority. And this is what's going to happen and allow you to be a happier individual, because that's ultimately what you want to do, is trying to make yourself a happier person. And even though some of these changes may seem scary, you also have to look at why they seem scary. Maybe perhaps, you have parents that raised you a certain way. So if you feel like you step out of those boundaries, that it's extremely scary. And it can be scary, because I have been in those particular situations. But the thing is, the point of the matter is you want to still do it, right? You still want to go out and explore that change, even though if it might not line up, right? If your parents are telling you to do this, right, to do the specific thing, they want you down the specific avenue because it's what they know, it's what they're secure with, right? They may have never actually gone out and included any change into their lives, and they want the same for their children, right? And as a parent, this is something I always think of, do you want to, push your beliefs or push your, your insecurities onto your children? And essentially that is what you're doing when a parent wants you to go down a certain way, because they've been down that path. They know if you go left instead of right, then you're gonna go down a path in which they failed, and they felt, possibly insecure going down that way. So they're gonna lead you down the right way. So the thing is you as a person, you as an individual, if you want to actually have change in your life, yes, it can be scary, it can be hard, but these are just reasons that we try to help ourselves feel better, and why that change isn't so good, right? When in fact, that change is good, and it will be scary, and it will be hard no matter how many times you do it, right? I've gone through multiple changes in my life, whether that's, careers, whether that's, being single, becoming married, having kids, just a wide variety of different things, right? A wide variety of different changes to include lifestyle change, even the way I eat, right? Even the way I work out, just a bunch of different change. And I've actually gotten to a point to where if I don't have change after so long, I start to feel uncomfortable because I don't have the change. And that's ultimately where you want to be, because life is about change. Life is about adapting, throwing away those old belief systems, throwing away, that old you that you feel like you weren't getting anywhere is because your body is trying to tell you, your mind is trying to tell you that, hey, I am not satisfied with this. You need to change it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's to go out and grow, right? You want to grow, you want to experience. And that involves change. That involves you getting out of your comfort zone and just doing the things that you feel aren't yourself, right? And that may sound silly, but it's true. You want to do the things that aren't typically yourself. So sometimes you identify yourself with certain things. And this is the hardest thing, is to think that, well, I've always been this way, so I can't change myself. And that's not true. You can change into whoever you want to be. Some changes actually do take more time, right? Some changes have to include beliefs that you have to change, have to include perhaps, your personal appearance if you want to get healthier, right? And it changes, some dramatic changes, some dramatic lifestyle changes that will take time. And it's hard when we always want things now, right? And so when you start going into any kind of change, you feel like, well, if I do this change, it should happen quickly, so I shouldn't have to put too much time into it. When in fact, there are some things, some changes that you have to really put time to see any kind of, results out of it. And so, especially if it's things like your health, you have to give it time. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just a temporary patch to what's been essentially down the same road you've been on, right? It's not going to help you. You're only temporary patching it and only, pushing it down the road, hoping it will get you, a couple extra miles before, you're right back where you were at. And so some of these things, you have to realize that they're lifestyle changes. No matter what it is, what kind of change you're trying to face in life, just realize that it's worth it. That you just have to put the time, you just have to put the effort in, but you will get there. Change is a good thing. And change can be hard, especially when you haven't experienced change. And that's why you should just go out and change, a bunch of little things, right? At first, whatever you change up, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you read a particular book. Well, start reading another book, change it up. And then maybe you only eat a specific kind of food. Well, change that food, right? Or change it to something healthier just so you can start getting your health back on track. Just make the little changes, right? Don't just jump into some big dramatic changes. Now, I myself have made some big dramatic changes because I'm used to change. And yes, even to this day, even though I am used to change can still be scary. And it gets to a point to where it's easier, right? Because change is a good thing, right? And I've gone to that point where change feels good, right? Change feels like I'm growing, and that's ultimately where you want to get to. And again, you're going to have to take those little baby steps to get there. Just diving off the deep end, may work for some, but a good majority of people it does not, right? You have to make those little changes to see that change is okay. And, some people actually might get anxiety from any change that's not outside the norm. And in those stages, you really want to push yourself for those little changes and make whatever changes you can possible, right? Now, don't go too fast, especially if you're one of those people that do get very, anxious about making a change. Make the little changes, right? And then try to adapt that into your lifestyle for, like a week, 2 weeks, even a month, whatever it is, just try to set your pace, right? That's what's extremely important about, making these changes in your life, is setting the pace. Do what's comfortable to you. Just as long as you're allowing that change to occur, then you know that you will get your growth. You will get that change that you wanted by allowing yourself to make those little changes and staying consistent and staying on top of that so that those changes do occur. So if this video has helped you guys, please smash that like button, and until next time, I will see you guys later.